3, 2, 1. Nice. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
It's The Unfolding Hour,
Yes.
episode 1. It's our pilot. Maybe we should tell people what The Unfolding Hour is exactly.
Yeah.
It's basically going to be a podcast where we just tell each other crazy internet stories that we've seen throughout the week and a little bit of personal experiences too, personal stories.
Yeah. Honestly, just looking up weird topics, funny stories,
Anecdotes,
on anything.
conspiracies.
Just unfolding the internet itself, honestly.
Yes, unfolding the entire internet.
Whatever thing we've run into that we want to tell the other about, or maybe ask the other to say a story that's personal to us.
Yeah. I'm thinking sometimes episodes will have a little bit of a common theme. Sometimes they won't.
Yeah, today's a little. I feel like mine don't really have a theme, but they kind of do. They kind of don't.
Mine kind of went into a theme. I went into it just, let's just have everything random. It's the first episode, but I found myself kind of going into a theme, which is good. It can segue easily for me. So now we have to decide who starts. Do you want to start? Do I start?
I kind of want to start because I feel like your stories are going to be better than mine. So that way I don't have to go after that. Yours can end on a higher note.
One thing. We did forget to introduce ourselves.
Yes.
So
I'm Mirella.
I'm Pablo. And
that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. We're married. We've been married for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
I don't want to say too much because, then people, I don't want to dox ourselves.
Yeah.
Can tell them where we live.
As time goes on, I feel like it might become, things might come out.
As we get big and famous, everyone's going to
Right.
talk about us. So people will know about us.
Right.
But we're both Hispanics.
Yes.
I'm more of a Hispanic than she is. I was born in Ecuador. Came here when I was 3.
Yes.
Where were you born?
I was born here in the U.S. I was born in Virginia.
Greatest state.
And you are from Virginia.
Yes, I came to the States when I was 3. Straight to Virginia. Lived there until I was 23, 24? 24.
Yeah.
So 21 years in Virginia. That's all I know.
Yeah.
And then you lived in where? In Mississippi?
Mississippi.
For your whole life, basically.
Yeah, from the time I was like 3 until I was like 22, so almost 20 years. And then, yeah.
Yep. And then you moved.
Yeah.
To another state.
Yes.
Which I ended up moving to.
Yeah.
After we got married.
Correct. But I moved first, and then when we got married, you moved.
Yes, that's correct.
I had been there for 2 years before.
Yes, she was living on her own. I never lived on my own. I was with my parents until I got married. So, very interesting. It was very different. But now we're here. You guys can try and guess which state we live in. We won't give out any details, really.
I feel like well, no, I mean, I guess not. I mean, some stories that I have, no, actually, I don't think any of my stories really pertain to where we live or anything. Um, but yeah,
I think we can just tell those stories how they are, even if they have state names,
we just
because
say,
people aren't gonna know. Like,
yeah,
if it says Virginia,
right.
well, the only thing is they know we're not in Virginia because I said we moved out,
Yeah,
and they know we're not in Mississippi.
yeah.
But
Well,
maybe we're tricking you guys.
it's a guessing game, honestly.
Yeah. But I think we can go ahead and get started.
Okay. So, going off of you being from Ecuador, I was going down a rabbit hole of legends and myths and folklore and stuff of different countries. So I would literally just look up, I don't even know, like legends of Russia, something.
Legends of Uzbekistan.
Well, not that specific, but I looked up Ecuador because I was like, I wonder
Oh
if
no
there's anything
way.
going on, anything that they. I don't know how. I don't know how known this legend is. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, when I look it up, there's a lot of different things that people have posted about it, but then again, I don't know if it's actually that known because I was like, if you asked your parents, like, I don't know if they're gonna be like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
And it's not anything. It's not like I guess it's supposed to be scary, but it's not really that scary, and it's kind of just like it gives me a little bit of like little kid vibes of like
Mm.
those scary stories that maybe little kids say,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it's not all that scary. And there's like a couple of different variations of it. It's basically the same story, but little details are a little different. But I'm gonna tell it like one way, and then I guess I could say like what it varies in other what's the word versions.
Mm.
So this is called the tale of Mariangula, and it's the name of a girl. So that's a name. I'd never heard that name actually before. But she was 16 years old and she lived in Quito, so the capital. And
This is really cool.
so her mom made a living selling like an Ecuadorian dish called tripa mishki. I don't know what the mishki means, but I know tripa
I'm not.
means
I don't know either.
means guts.
Yeah.
So it basically had to do with like cow guts. Her mom
Okay.
would sell this dish that was made of cow guts. So she tells her daughter, like, okay, go and get me some guts, basically, from the butcher. And she gave her money and she told her to go. And when she was leaving, her mom gave her a knife because apparently the streets were pretty unsafe, which is interesting. I don't know when this was supposed to have happened. Like, it's just a legend. I don't know when it became a legend or when this was supposed to have happened because I mean, I find it interesting that she gave her a knife and that it was pretty dangerous. I feel like back in the day, maybe Ecuador wouldn't have been that dangerous as it is now. So the girl goes on to go buy these guts, but she was known to be pretty disobedient and she didn't obey her mom. And instead of going to the butcher, she went out with her friends and she spent the money on other things like candy and chocolate. And she realizes that it's just kind of like set in for her like, okay, I didn't get what my mom needed. And at this point, it's late. The butcher place closed. And she's kind of freaking out a little bit. She doesn't know what's going to happen when she gets home. She's really scared of her mom because apparently her mom was very strict. So she starts walking back home and she comes across a cemetery.
We love that.
And she ends up getting this great idea to take the guts from a dead body.
What?
And she literally dug this body up and decided to take its guts with the knife that she had. And she took them to her mom. And her mom prepared them and sold them. And they sold well. And many customers would come back for them. So later that night, after the food was, you know, prepared and sold and people had eaten it, that night, Maria Angula, I don't know how to, I guess that's how you pronounce it,
Yeah, I think
Maria
so.
Angula. She starts hearing like strange noises and she hears them outside and they just get louder and nearer to her house.
Yeah, it's probably the spirits from all the people that she dug up.
Yeah. So she starts hearing like banging noises and all this stuff. And she basically hears a voice saying, you know, give me back my guts. And it's this person that she sold these guts from, she stole these guts from. And the voices keep growing louder and closer to her. And they just, you know, she's kind of going a little crazy in a way. So the spirits ended up going into her room, but they found her dead and like all bloodied. She had ended up cutting her own body and she did it kind of to give back what she stole. Um, so, and then the legend says that her mom no longer sells this dish, that now she sells, you know, a different type of dish for um, basically like a meat on a stick. And they're saying that the stick somehow is for Maria Angula and that it's to fight against the bad spirits. So that's one version that I saw. Another version that I saw basically said that.
Oh, so there's like an alternate ending.
Is there an alternate ending?
Uh, um, s-
No, it's basically the same ending. It's just in another version that I saw. They just said that it was a dish called fritada, which is like made of pork. So it wasn't really saying that it was guts. It was just kind of saying that
yeah,
it was pork. So I'm guessing in that one, it's like instead of being guts, it's like the meat of a human. And in another version that I saw, that she passed a like a caravan with a man that had recently died, and she would enter, open the coffin, and get the pieces from that. It wasn't like she dug anything up. So just little variations like that. But I just thought it was interesting. I mean, like I said, it's not too scary. It's a little silly almost, but I just thought it was cool.
that is actually really cool. I've never heard of it,
Yeah.
but then
I kind of
again,
figured you probably wouldn't
yeah,
have.
I was only 3 when
Yeah.
I was there. But that was cool.
Yeah.
It was still a little spooky too. It wasn't too childy like you were making it out to be. It was very spooky, especially the ending
Yeah.
when she's over there cutting herself to give back the
But I
guts.
mean, yeah. I mean, I don't think any of it is
Right.
true. I mean, I don't know if maybe there was a girl that was named Maria Angula and she did die, kill herself or something, but I don't know. And then I don't know if everything else was added on or if it's just completely purely made up.
Yeah.
Because like in Mexico, La Llorona, they say that there's an actual story to that, and I've never known if that's actually been like based in some sort of fact. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes legends are based on some sort of
Like they
fact,
have
but
some type of backstory and then people just
add on to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have other ones from other countries? Or is that the only
Um,
one you brought today?
that's kind of the only one I brought. Was looking up others, but I didn't really get as into them as this one. Maybe because that one was just from Ecuador, so I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty
It's a little bit
interesting.
more personal for me.
Yeah. But I did come upon a real story
Oh,
from Russia from back in 2012, which is interesting because another story that I was going to say is from 2012. But I don't know if you ever heard of it, but there was this Russian guy that he was. I don't know how true this is. That they say that he was like a historian, and he was a cemetery explorer. Actually, I just realized they do. There is a connection because they're both based on like cemeteries and
oh yeah,
bodies and stuff. So this guy, the police were basically investigating him because of great like desecrating graves and stuff, and they when they went into his house, they literally found 20 life-size dolls, and they were made from mummified female corpses. So,
Ugh. Ooh, that gave me chills.
yeah.
That's
And he basically like dressed them up and had them around his house.
that is terrifying.
Yeah.
How do you have access to all these bodies?
I mean, he would go and he would dig them up.
Oh, that's right.
So, I mean, I don't think they ever thought though that he was having them as
He
dolls
was
in his
probably selling
house.
the remainings for like food, just like
Maybe,
Maria Angola's mom.
maybe. But I mean, they did an interview with him. And I got this from BBC, so I don't know if he did the interview with them. No, it says with the newspaper, I think, in Russia. And that he said he began wandering through cemeteries when he was a schoolboy, and that he claims that he inspected 752 cemeteries.
How do you even keep track of all that?
I have no idea. I've always wondered that when they give like crazy specific numbers or even super large numbers. Like, how do you ever think, like, oh yeah, it was 752, unless you
Mm-hmm.
kept like a list? But I mean, that's what he claims. At the same time, I don't know how legit this guy is. But yeah,
I like it though.
it kind of reminds me of I don't know if you remember on American Horror Stories there was an episode where this guy kept girls in his house and they were dolls. They were alive, but you don't remember? And they
Yes,
tried to
yes,
escape,
yes, yes, yes.
or one of them tried to escape,
Yes, I remember
or
that.
something like that. Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me
Oh, that
of.
one was creepy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
that was a good one. I think we can make that into a little theme, a little topic.
Yeah.
Folklore
System.
around the from the world or legends.
Yeah. I mean that one was very true though.
Yeah, I guess that one was true. But still, I think that's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you have any more?
Not no,
Oh,
not about that.
I was really.
I didn't realize until now that I was reading that there was a connection. If I had known that there
Mm.
was a connection, I would have gone more into looking up more stuff about that. But it didn't really hit me until I started reading. I was like, oh wait, they're both kind of like grave robbers
Yeah,
going into grave robbing.
I was trying to think of a joke, but I couldn't think of one. So I'd rather just stay quiet.
Yeah.
That was good. You said you weren't gonna have good stories. You said mine were gonna be better than yours, and definitely not.
You don't think so? I
No,
feel like mine
no.
weren't that interesting. I feel
What do
like
you
mine were
mean?
kind of. Mm,
They were definitely interesting, especially the first time. I mean, you hit it straight to me.
yeah.
Very personal.
Yeah.
And
I guess so.
mine's not that personal, but it does a couple of the first one isn't really related to the other ones, but the other ones kind of have a little theme and you'll pick up on it. Um, but do you have any other stories or is that it? Or are you
Um,
saving them for later?
I had another one, but I think I want to. I know it because I kind of lived it. But then I don't have like super specifics about it after the fact. I don't think I knew that much about it after the fact once it was fully investigated.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of want to look more into it before I just kind of give a half version.
Mm.
So,
I can wait. Build the suspense.
yeah, for next time.
Okay. Well, my first story is one that I found on Reddit. And it's probably a little bit lighthearted, a little bit. Um, it's basically it's from a subreddit called Petty Revenge, where people just post stories of, yeah, I was being petty. I know I was, but this is what I did. And it's just like
Yeah.
they're not trying to justify it or anything. They're just like, this is what happened. I'm being petty. I got my revenge. And so it's a little lighthearted, but it's called Neighbor Kept Parking in My Spot, so I gave her a taste of her own medicine. And it goes, all right, so this might not be the prettiest thing out there, but it felt amazing at the time. My apartment complex has assigned parking spots, and each unit has one spot that's, yours. For weeks, my neighbor started parking in my spot after work. At first, I let it slide, figured she just got confused or whatever. But when it kept happening, I left a polite note asking her to please use her own spot. The next day, I come home, and yep, her car is there again. She crumpled my note and left it under her wiper like she was proud of ignoring it. So I decided I'd just use her spot instead. Every day, without fail, I parked right in her designated spot. It took 2 days before she started leaving notes on my car asking me to stop. I kept switching spots with her until she finally knocked on my door to confront me. I just acted clueless and told her, "Oh, I thought we were doing a swap since you were using mine." She sputtered out some excuse, but she finally stopped. Now, every time I pull into my spot and see her car not there, it's a tiny little win. So, told you they're not nothing crazy, just
And that kind of reminds me of how crazy people are at your job about their parking spots.
oh my god.
Um,
People are crazy about their parking spots.
they are.
The worst part is our parking lot is getting full. Like we've hired so many people. I think we've hired almost 1,000 people in the last year. That might be an exaggeration. Hold up. 600 people. 700. I think 800. And now I used to have a spot where I would always park. And my coworker would always park there too, so we'd park next to each other or right in front of each other. And as the months go by, we're having to park further and further and further and further back because of all the people we keep hiring it. And it is so annoying. But the worst part is that we're repainting our parking lot and we're adding more and more supervisor parking spots, so reserved ones, and they're empty. They're just there for like future supervisors. It's like 25 different parking spots and they're always empty. And every time I walk by, I just get so mad because I have to walk like a whole mile to get to the front gate before I can clock in.
Do y'all have it? So nobody has assigned spots except the supervisors?
Yeah, it's supervisors or above.
Interesting. So, like, you don't have an assigned spot?
No.
But do you always park in the same spot? Or you
I
try
like
to?
to. Yeah, I tried
Yeah.
to.
Because at my job, so first of all, our parking lot it's very, very, very small for the amount of people we work there. So if you get there after a certain time, you have to park in like the parking lots on either side, which belong to the other buildings, but they don't really care. But so there's two spots that are right at the front of the door,
I
and
know which
I
ones. Hmm.
and I used to park there, and I preferred the one closer to the entrance, and I just kind of started parking there. Nobody would really park there. I would get there at a point where it was kind of empty. So I started parking there, but then I don't know why recently I wanted to move. And so,
That's where you went wrong.
well, all also on the other side, there's, I don't know, like 10 spots, maybe. I don't know how many, like in a row. And everyone kind of has a spot
Their
that's,
designated spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of ruining that. Like I'm kind of every day I just park somewhere different.
Yeah. Because you were saying some crazy stuff.
I was basically saying that I used to kind of have an assigned spot because there's the two spots in the front. So sometimes I would park in the one closest to the front and the other or the one right. Not that it's that big of a difference, but it's those two spots. So depending on what time I would get there, I would park in one or the other, and then the other person would park in the other one. And I didn't mind, but I was like, we would just kind of switch depending when we got there. And on the other side, everyone else parked. But recently, as I was saying, I've just been parking wherever I feel like it.
I can't believe that.
And I know there's specific places that people like to park. Like there's always a place this one parks. There's always a place this one parks. So I've just kind of been causing chaos recently and just parking wherever. I will say though, it's not too crazy because I'm already one of the ones that gets there the latest. So by the time I get there, there's
That's
only
true.
so many
Yeah.
places that I can pick. But even if I come back early from lunch or something, I'll take someone's spot. I don't care. Because I'm like, there's no assigned spots. You know what I mean? Like at this point, let's just all park where. Why do I have to be confined to one
I feel
spot?
like there should be assigned spots for certain people.
Maybe. Maybe
You know
so.
what I mean? Am I able to say what your job title is? Or is that too much? Is that too much information for the internet?
Um,
I'm sure people could. Well, they don't know your last name, so they couldn't Google you.
I mean, probably if
If we get big and famous, you have your own Wikipedia page,
definitely not.
and people will be searching what is Marilla's last name net worth?
No.
How we do with people nowadays. Well, I don't know if you've done that, but I've done that before. I'm like, what is this YouTuber's net worth? And it'll say first and last names YouTuber, otherwise known as blah blah blah. Net worth is $30 million.
Yeah, I have done that before. Anyway, back to the parking.
So can I say your
No.
okay?
Back to the
But they should
parking.
your job title should have your own parking, your designated parking, like mapped out or whatever.
Um, I guess so. Also, the spots where I parked before, like the two closer to the front, because where I like to park now is more towards the back, so I can go in the back door, so nobody knows when I get there or when I leave.
Mm.
Even though they're always watching anyway, they're always gonna know. Because if I want to get there late or I get leave early, not that it matters, honestly.
Right. I mean, you can
But
do what you want. You can go in whenever, leave whenever.
right, but in the spots that I parked before, that's where my boss used to park.
Mm.
So when we started parking there, when my one of my bosses works, she has to park in the handicap spot. But that's also the issue with all this is that our parking lot is like way too small. Like
Yeah.
if all of us work one day and we have clients, like there's a good like 4 or 5 people probably that have to park under
Haven't you
there.
parked in the other ones before?
Yeah, I
When you
have
come back from lunch and stuff like
multiple
that?
times. Yeah,
Actually, when you've gotten
I
late,
think there's
right?
actually one person in the office that always just parks in another parking lot. I think they just don't want to deal with it.
They're like, screw. I'll be the one. I'll be the one
Yeah,
to sacrifice.
yeah. But um, anyways, let us know if you are petty about your parking spot, because apparently I'm not, and I like to create chaos.
Yeah.
And I'm not possessive of any parking spot.
Unlike at my
I
job,
think it
they're
should
petty.
be. I'm sure at my job they're petty. I'm sure. I'm sure they've exchanged a couple words. Maybe not. Maybe they don't care. But I feel like if you always park in the same spot, you probably care to a degree.
Oh yeah.
So, oh, also,
Also.
also, the person that works on my team
Mm-hmm.
started doing that too.
Oh no. What are you guys doing?
He used to have a specific spot he were always
Which I
parking.
know where, kind of like in the corner, on the other
Yeah,
side of the corner.
yeah.
I think.
And now he started parking towards the back too. So we're just causing all sorts of chaos. So maybe we're just. They always say at our job anyway that we do whatever we want. Our
Yes.
team, which is not true. Anyway, we're going down a completely different route now. But
It's okay. I think it doesn't matter. Remember? I think we established. That's why I was still able to hear you. Because now this determines.
I was gonna say because I could hear myself.
Yeah, or else it wouldn't have worked.
Okay. Like,
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh my god.
so yeah.
Throw that into the blooper reel.
Yes. But yeah, let us know if you're petty about your parking spot. If you have any crazy parking lot stories.
Oh.
I'm sure there's been. Haven't you been keyed?
No. There's been a couple times where I've gotten in my car and I'm like, did I just get keyed? But it's like spiderweb or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that reminded me when we used to live in the apartments
Mm-hmm.
with my parents and I. My family, we used to live in apartments. My dad had his own designated parking spot, and it was a corner one right under a tree where he would get
Oh, I
shade.
feel like your dad would be insanely possessive of his
Oh,
parking
my
spot.
dad was insanely possessive. God, if someone if someone parked in his spot, he would not stop talking about it all day, and he'd be looking out the window like, "Have they left yet? Have they left yet? Oh, they left." Grabs the key, runs down there. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna move my car." And he will literally move his car as soon as they're backing out. They're not even done backing out. He's already going back in there. He was insane about
That
that
does not
parking spot.
surprise me. That does not surprise me.
He's like, I mean, I park there every day. Why are you taking it? You park somewhere else every day.
Your name's not on it.
That's yeah.
That's what I
It's
have to say
funny.
about that.
Once we moved out, they added designated parking spots per
Oh my
apartment
gosh, that's
number.
hilarious. I feel like if there was designated parking spots, obviously I would respect them. But if
Yeah,
there's not, I'm like,
it's fair game.
you'll be okay. You'll survive.
Move your feet, lose your seat.
Honestly, let's just all like give a little switcheroo every once in a while. Why do you always want to park in the same spot anyway?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a hot take though.
Is it?
I feel like it's a hot take. I feel like people it's kind of like in school, like in school, you didn't have assigned seats, but you would always sit in the same like well, some classes you probably had assigned seats, but in a lot of them you probably didn't. And you sat in the same spot or everyone
Mm-hmm.
kind of sat in the same spot every day. And if you came in and someone was sitting in your spot, I feel like it's a hot take if I'm like I'm just going to sit here today.
Yeah.
Is that okay? It actually doesn't matter cuz
You're
I'm going to do
causing
it anyway.
chaos.
Just causing chaos.
We kind of need that though,
I'm
because
just
we're
like
creatures of habit, and it's not good for us. Scientifically, it's actually not good for us. Remember when I was telling you that I started going home a different way
mhm.
because it helps with Alzheimer's and all that?
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
maybe we should just start parking in everyone's spots.
I agree.
I should park. I was about to say his name. I should park in my manager's spot.
I feel like he wouldn't even care. You think he'd care?
I think he'd care, but he wouldn't. No, if it was me, he'd definitely care. He'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Because he's had people park in his spot before.
Yeah.
But then he won't care really. He'll be like, "Oh, someone parked in my spot again," and won't say anything because you can go to security and tell them, "Hey, parking spot number blah blah, that one's mine. Someone's in it," and they'll get that person moved. They'll figure out who that car belongs to, who it's registered to,
Huh.
and they'll call them up like, "Hey, move your car."
Yeah, we have very different parking situations, you
Yes,
and I.
very different. Very
Very, very
different.
different.
Yours is tiny.
Yeah.
Mine is massive.
Yep. Yep, 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 yep,
But
yep.
we're gonna run out if we keep hiring people the way we've been. We have like a I don't know what to call it, but like a backup parking spots or parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's overflow, the overflow parking lot.
Yeah,
That one gets full now too.
that's crazy.
So if everyone and we're getting rid of work from home. So when everyone is back at the office, I don't know where people are gonna park. We're gonna have to fire people just because they can't park.
I mean, that's kind of how I felt at my job. I'm like, okay, when are we gonna be able to? Because where I work, there's nowhere else you can go.
No, no.
Like that's about it. Like you have to park in the other parking lots, in the other buildings next door, which are also like office spaces. But
Maybe you guys can start carpooling.
yeah,
Could you imagine that?
I'm gonna bring that up at the next meeting.
You and your the person in your team having a carpool.
But we live on different
Oh yeah, that's
extremes
true. That's true.
of
They live what, maybe 45 minutes away from here?
from here. Yeah, probably.
Probably more.
No, probably around 45. Well, I don't know because
Cuz
we're
it was
pretty
kind
far
of
from.
in there. Remember when we went? It's in there.
Yeah, he lives
So
out.
like the city itself is maybe 30 minutes from here.
Yeah,
But well, I guess yeah, then 15 more minutes, 45.
yeah.
Oof, that'd be rough. But I do have another one from Petty Revenge.
Okay.
I got on there and it just kind of it resonated with me, all these Petty Revenges.
Okay.
And this one's a little bit more near and dear to my heart,
Oh, okay.
and you'll see why. This one's called 10 or Less Items Turns into a Full Cart. I'll catch you outside. You see where
Mm-hmm.
this is going?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it starts out by saying, I was 30 something and a 40 something year old was in front of me in the supermarket, 10 items or less line. She had like 15, 20 items, and I pointed out that she was in the wrong line. She brushed me off and said, it's just a little longer wait. And her two children start bringing items up and going back out for more. I'm pissed off, and so are those behind me. By the time the family is finished hunting and gathering enough to fill a cart, she looks at me and says, it wasn't so bad, was it? I'm already getting mad. Even the cashier was annoyed. Oh, I bet. I pay for my 5 items and see them loading their multiple bags in the trunk. I wait as they get in the car and park directly behind them. About 30 seconds go by and I hear her horn toot. I wave at them. A very long minute takes past. She gets out and walks to me and says, we need to leave. Can you move? I said, no, I can't. Sorry. She starts getting irritated and I cut her off by saying, it's just a little longer wait.
Crazy.
She then realizes I was behind her in line. I said, I guess my car isn't done sitting in the park or sitting in park. You're just going to have to wait for me to be finished. She went back to her car and I felt so satisfied that I sat for 7 more minutes.
Oh my
She
god.
came out again, twice, and I rolled up the window on her and just played on my phone. It was annoying yet awesome to watch the seconds slowly creep. I felt quite vindicated when her tone got angry. After a good 8 minutes total, I let her leave with a smile on my face.
Wow.
Now, I feel that because when I used to work at a grocery store, and when customers would go through this 15 items or less lane, actually, I think it might have been 10 items or less. So the speedy checkout,
Mm-hmm.
and they would go with the big carts. So we had the big carts and we had little carts. And normally, people with little carts, obviously, get 10
Yeah.
items or less.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we were narcs about it. We're not like, yeah, you got 11. You can't come in here.
Yeah.
Well, I had one cashier be like that, but that's a different story. That person's a whole. I could do a whole podcast on that person, 3-part episode, honestly, because that person was interesting to say the least. But it would annoy me when I would see people go with their full cart, and you know, our managers were like, "Oh, you don't say no to the customer," or
Yeah.
"Customer's always right." Hi, Mason.
Oh,
Oh, Mason, please don't play with that. You want to come up here? Special guest Mason.
he's like, why are you in my spot?
Yeah.
What is
Come
going
here,
on?
Mason. Oh, there you go. Good boy. You're a little cute. You want to go to your bed? Hopefully the camera can catch that, but he's on his window bed. It's one attached to the window, and he loves that spot. But anyways, yeah, I have some crazy stories from the grocery store, and
Oh
that
yeah.
one just brought up some bad memories.
Hit home.
It really did hit home.
Do you think you're a petty revenge type of person? Because I feel like hearing that story, I'm like,
That's
what did that get you?
yeah, that's just too much. I was thinking the same thing when I was reading it. I'm like,
But then again, I'm like, okay, like maybe it's just because I haven't lived it. Because I feel like I've definitely had situations where I'm like, oh, if I could just do the same thing back, you
mm-hmm,
know? But hearing it, I'm kind of like, really? I don't know that I would ever. I feel like that. I feel like I would just rather go about my life. I'm like, you know what? That happened. Just gonna go about it. They wouldn't be mad about it and vent about it, but I don't think that I would actually ever do anything about it, even if I wasn't scared
yeah.
of
I
not
think the
doing it.
only petty revenge thing I would have done in that scenario is if they forgot an item in a bag or something.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just been like, mm, I didn't see anything.
What
I
do you
wouldn't
mean?
say anything. Like I wouldn't notify them. Like, hey, you forgot this item in there.
Oh,
I would just let them
like in their
go.
cart?
Yeah, in their cart.
Mm.
I would just let them go. But
I feel like I'm just the
That's
type of
probably
person.
the most I would ever do.
I'm just the type I wouldn't even do anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Because just, what do you get out of it?
Yeah.
The dude wasted 8 minutes of his time.
Yeah. I'm just like, you know what, I'll just go about my day.
And also, it didn't say if they were male or female, but the other person was a mom of two
The one that,
that held up the line.
yeah.
She was probably scared in her car. Like,
Yeah.
if it was a guy just sitting in his, I don't know, souped up pickup truck,
I feel like it would be scary either way.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm stuck here. I'm literally stuck here.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. But that got me into a little grocery store theme. And so then I found two subreddits. Yeah, there's the other one on my phone. Hopefully I saved it now. It should refresh, hopefully. But one of them is called Retail Hell. Let me tell you, I lived it. I lived it.
I feel like you probably have better stories than the ones on there.
Oh, yeah. But this one's a little, it's whatever. It's a little funny, a little lighthearted.
Okay.
It's something I would never do.
Okay.
But I understand why they did it.
Okay.
And you will know too. I've talked about this all the time.
Okay.
So this one is in Retail Hell, and it's called I Did It. Might get fired, but it felt good. And it says, I was ringing up a customer earlier today. He had a couple shirts and a pair of jeans, and we were chatting about nothing in particular. I scanned the first shirt and realized that the tag had fallen off the second. It happens. That particular brand's tags are tied on with this weak hemp string, and they come untied all the time. No big deal. Me. Ah, looks like the tag popped off. I'll go grab it. Customer. Oh, well, if there's no tag, then it must. Me. Interrupting. Don't say it. Please just do not say it. You will literally be like the 105th customer to say that this year. It's not funny. And it never has been. Don't be that guy.
Okay, first of all, before you go any further, you've been that guy, so I don't want to hear it.
When?
You have. You've said that before.
To the customer or to the cashier.
Okay, maybe just tell us.
Maybe just between us two, because I would never tell a cashier.
Okay, but you want to. And you're laughing because it's true.
I don't know.
You be talking about free 99 all the time.
Free Shavakadi.
Yep.
But I'm not gonna go and tell the cashier. Mason, what's wrong? I'm not gonna go and tell the cashier. Oh, there's no tag. I guess it's free.
My mom does it all the time.
Does she?
I don't know about all the time, but I've heard her say it at least like 5 times.
To the cashier?
Yeah.
Or to you?
To the cashier.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, she doesn't say it must be free. She's like, free?
I can hear her say that. Oh my god. But to finish the story, they were like, don't be that guy. And the customer's like, okay. Me. Let me go grab that tag. I'll be right back. He paid, left, but had this perplexed expression on his face the whole time. As for me, I had a big smile on my face the rest of the day. He might complain, but it was so worth it. That reminds me, I've told you the story. One time, there was a customer. I got on register because it was busy. And I'm ringing up this customer, and I get an item that didn't have a tag. And I would do this all the time, by the way. All the time. I would give out free stuff all the time. We were kind of supposed to, kind of not. Doesn't matter. But he's like, huh? No tag. It must be free then. And I was like, yeah, you're right. bagged it for him. He's like, wow, that's the first time that's ever worked. He was so confused, and he would not stop talking about it the whole time. He looked over at the register behind him, sees a customer. He's like, "Hey, it actually worked." I said, "No tag must be free. I'm getting it for free."
Everyone's gonna try it now.
Yeah. I think those were some pretty good stories.
Yeah, to start off, just starting off, getting our feet wet.
Getting our feet wet. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
This episode has been about grave robbers, petty parking,
Retail.
retail, which we're gonna
Expand on in
expand
future
on for sure because you have a lot of stories from
stories.
your retail days because you
Yes.
worked in retail for
6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
6 long years with a lot of stories, coworker stories, customer stories, um,
Everything in between.
everything in between. And then before that, you worked at a pretty fun place.
4?
Yeah, for like a day, not even a day.
Oh, you're talking about that one. That was my first job.
Oh, your first job.
Mm-hmm.
I as well have a retail story of my own. That's pretty. Might inflame a couple of retail workers, specifically the ones that do carts outside. I may or may not get canceled for it, but I felt like not enough people are gonna watch this for me to get canceled for it.
For now,
For now,
it's not that bad. You wouldn't get canceled over it, but
not my proudest moment. So stay
oh
tuned
my
for
god,
that.
that one's a good one. I promise. That is probably one of the best stories you'll ever hear.
Okay, don't hype it up because it's not that serious, but it's pretty. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but
I was gonna say something about it, but let's just leave it for next time
let's leave it for now.
for another episode.
Yes.
But yeah, guys, it's our pilot episode, very first one. Um, it's only gonna get better from here. We're gonna have better audio, better editing, better
Hopefully.
video.
Take it easy on us.
Yeah.
We just want to have fun, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of everything. Interesting news stories, stuff we look up, conspiracies, personal stories, Reddit stories, mysteries. The list goes on and
Oh,
on.
I got a couple other places we could get stories from.
Really?
Oh yeah.
4chan? I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what 14. Well, I know what 14 is, but I
I've
don't even
heard
know
of
how it
it. I don't
works.
even know how it works either.
Yeah. No, but I've got 2 more places that we could get stories from, and I'm sure we could find some crazy things on there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for the first episode. It's pretty fun. I'm excited for the next one.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Make sure you guys are subscribed.
Yes.
Turn on the bell notifications.
Yes.
Leave a like.
Yes.
Comment down which story was your favorite or your own personal retail story.
Yeah, tell me about your parking situation because I'm genuinely curious if anyone else is
Yeah.
parking spot hopper like me.
Parking spot hopper.
Or if you are very possessive of your parking spot, which I feel like is the
Norm.
norm.
Yeah.
So,
But any retail stories you guys have, if you leave them in the comments, let us know and we'll talk about it too on another episode.
yeah, especially if you have inside scoop in retail, maybe
Yes.
Pablo can expand on it and say
Yes.
if he agrees or disagrees or if he's lived through something
Oh
similar.
yeah, if you guys are talking about it also like on the customer side, I could tell you how I could react or I would have reacted.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can you believe this happened? I'm like, oh well, this is why it happened.
Yeah.
Or I would just say they're just crazy and that would never happen. Or I would never do that.
That too. But thank you for joining us at the Unfolding Hour, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.